Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Exchange or replace with another, usually of the same kind or category. The act of changing one thing for another thing. Adam was promised immortality in exchange for his disobedience. Give to, and receive from, one another. Put in the place of another. Switch seemingly equivalent items. Reciprocal transfer of equivalent sums of money, especially the currencies of different countries. Exchange a penalty for a less severe one. A workplace that serves as a telecommunications facility where lines from telephones can be connected together to permit communication. The act of putting one thing or person in the place of another. Sports. An unbroken sequence of several successive strokes. Change over, change around, as to a new order or sequence. A mutual expression of views, especially an unpleasant one. They had a bitter exchange. A workplace for buying and selling, open only to members. Chemical process in which one atom or ion or group changes places with another. Chess, gaining, or losing, a rook in return for a knight or bishop. Black lost the exchange. Chess, the capture by both players, usually on consecutive moves, of pieces of equal value. The endgame began after the exchange of queens. Hand over one and receive another, approximately equivalent. Exchange prisoners. The act of giving something in return for something received. Deductible losses on sales or exchanges of property are allowable. Lay aside, abandon, or leave for another. The car changed lanes. Cause to change. Make different. Cause a transformation. The discussion has changed my thinking about the issue. Exchange or replace with another, usually of the same kind or category. He changed his name. An event that occurs when something passes from one state or phase to another. The change was intended to increase sales. Become different in some particular way, without permanently losing one's or its former characteristics or essence. Her mood changes in accordance with the weather. Give to, and receive from, one another. Would you change places with me? Become deeper in tone. His voice began to change when he was 12 years old. Change from one vehicle or transportation line to another. She changed in Chicago on her way to the East Coast. A difference that is usually pleasant. It is a refreshing change to meet a woman mechanic. A different or fresh set of clothes. She brought a change in her overnight bag. A relational difference between states, especially between states before and after some event. He attributed the change to their marriage. A thing that is different. He inspected several changes before selecting one. Change clothes. Put on different clothes. Coins of small denomination regarded collectively. He had a pocketful of change. Money received in return for its equivalent in a larger denomination or a different currency. He got change for a 20 and used it to pay the taxi driver. Remove or replace the coverings of. Father had to learn how to change the baby. The action of changing something. The change of government had no impact on the economy. The balance of money received when the amount you tender is greater than the amount due. I paid with a 20 and pocketed the change. The result of alteration or modification. There were marked changes in the lining of the lungs. Undergo a change. Become different in essence, losing one's or its original nature. She changed completely as she grew older. Exchange or replace with another, usually of the same kind or category. Exchange positions without a change in value. These operators commute with each other. Exchange a penalty for a less severe one. Change the order or arrangement of. A regular journey of some distance to and from your place of work. There is standing room only on the high-speed commute. Travel back and forth regularly, as between one's place of work and home. Exchange or replace with another, usually of the same kind or category. Could you convert my dollars into pounds? Change from one system to another or to a new plan or policy. We converted from 220 to 110 volt. Make someone agree, understand, or realize the truth or validity of something. Exchange a penalty for a less severe one. A person who has been converted to another religious or political belief. Cause to adopt a new or different faith. The missionaries converted the Indian population. Change in nature, purpose, or function. Undergo a chemical change. The substance converts to an acid. Change religious beliefs, or adopt a religious belief. She converted to Buddhism. Change the nature, purpose, or function of something. Convert lead into gold. Complete successfully. Score an extra point or points after touchdown by kicking the ball through the uprights or advancing the ball into the end zone. Smith converted and his team won. Score, a spare. Reverse, a direction, attitude, or course of action. Mutual interaction. The activity of reciprocating or exchanging, especially information. The act of changing one thing for another thing. There was an interchange of prisoners. Give to, and receive from, one another. Put in the place of another. Switch seemingly equivalent items. Synonyms can be interchanged without changing the context's meaning. Reciprocal transfer of equivalent sums of money, especially the currencies of different countries. He earns his living from the interchange of currency. Cause to change places. Interchange this screw for one of a smaller size. A junction of highways on different levels that permits traffic to move from one to another without crossing traffic streams. Put in the place of another. Switch seemingly equivalent items. The con artist replaced the original with a fake Rembrandt. Put something back where it belongs. Replace the book on the shelf after you have finished reading it. Take the place or move into the position of. Smith replaced Miller as CEO after Miller left. Substitute a person or thing for another that is broken or inefficient or lost or no longer working or yielding what is expected. He replaced the old razor blade. Act as a substitute. Serving or used in place of another. Be a substitute. The young teacher had to substitute for the sick colleague. Put in the place of another. Switch seemingly equivalent items. Substitute regular milk for fat-free milk. Capable of substituting in any of several positions on a team. someone who takes the place of another, as when things get dangerous or difficult. An athlete who plays only when a starter on the team is replaced. Artificial and inferior. Substitute coffee. A person or thing that takes or can take the place of another. A workplace that serves as a telecommunications facility where lines from telephones can be connected together to permit communication. Serving as an essential component. The central cause of the problem. In or near a center or constituting a center, the inner area. A central position. A workplace that serves as a telecommunications facility where lines from telephones can be connected together to permit communication. The travel of a commuter. The act of putting one thing or person in the place of another. Law. The reduction in severity of a punishment imposed by law. A warrant substituting a lesser punishment for a greater one. An event in which one thing is substituted for another. The act of putting one thing or person in the place of another. He sent Smith in for Jones, but the substitution came too late to help. The feat of mustering strength for a renewed effort. He singled to start a rally in the 9th inning. Harass with persistent criticism or carping. A large gathering of people intended to arouse enthusiasm. Call to arms. Of military personnel. Return to a former condition. Gather or bring together. Gather. Sports. An unbroken sequence of several successive strokes. After a short rally, Connors won the point. A marked recovery of strength or spirits during an illness. An automobile race run over public roads. Lay aside, abandon, or leave for another. Switch to a different brand of beer. Control consisting of a mechanical or electrical or electronic device for making or breaking or changing the connections in a circuit. Reverse. A direction, attitude, or course of action. Cause to go on or to be engaged or set in operation. Switch on the light. The act of changing one thing or position for another. His switch on abortion cost him the election. An event in which one thing is substituted for another. Make a shift to in or exchange of. First Joe led, then we switched. Exchange or give something in exchange for. Change over, change around, as to a new order or sequence. A basketball maneuver. Two defensive players shift assignments so that each guards the player usually guarded by the other. A flexible implement used as an instrument of punishment. Flog with or as if with a flexible rod. Hairpiece consisting of a tress of false hair, used by women to give shape to a coiffure. Railroad track having two movable rails and necessary connections, used to turn a train from one track to another or to store rolling stock. Change over, change around, as to a new order or sequence. Action taken by a group of people. Transfer from one place or period to another. Transfer somebody to a different position or location of work. The act of moving something from one location to another. Application of a skill learned in one situation to a different but similar situation. Move around. Transfer the packet from his trouser pockets to a pocket in his jacket. transferring ownership. Change from one vehicle or transportation line to another. The act of transferring something from one form to another. The transfer of the music from record to tape suppressed much of the background noise. Someone who transfers or is transferred from one position to another. The best student was a transfer from LSU. Send from one person or place to another. Lift and reset in another soil or situation. Shift the position or location of, as for business, legal, educational, or military purposes. A ticket that allows a passenger to change conveyances. Cause to change ownership. I transferred my stock holdings to my children. Move from one place to another. Transfer the data. Insert words into texts, often falsifying it thereby. Cause to change, make different, cause a transformation. The advent of the automobile may have altered the growth pattern of the city. Become different in some particular way, without permanently losing one's or its former characteristics or essence. Remove the ovaries of. Make an alteration to. This dress needs to be altered. Cause to change, make different, cause a transformation. Add a modifier to a constituent. Make less severe or harsh or extreme. Please modify this letter to make it more polite. The United States federal department that promotes and administers domestic and foreign trade, including management of the Census and the Patent Office, created in 1913. Transactions, sales and purchases, having the objective of supplying commodities, goods and services. Social exchange, especially of opinions, attitudes, etc. Transactions, sales and purchases, having the objective of supplying commodities, goods and services. Transactions, sales and purchases, having the objective of supplying commodities, goods and services. An economic system, Europe in 18th century, to increase a nation's wealth by government regulation of all of the nation's commercial interests. A place where work is done. Make uniform. Work the clay until it is soft. Perform as expected when applied. This old radio doesn't work anymore. Be employed. Is your husband working again? Applying the mind to learning and understanding a subject, especially by reading. Mastering a second language requires a lot of work. Have and exert influence or effect. The artist's work influenced the young painter. Make something, usually for a specific function. Cause to happen or to occur as a consequence. I cannot work a miracle. The occupation for which you are paid. A lot of people are out of work. Cause to work. He is working his servants hard. Find the solution to a problem or question, or understand the meaning of. This unpleasant situation isn't going to work itself out. A product produced or accomplished through the effort or activity or agency of a person or thing. It is not regarded as one of his more memorable works. Have an effect or outcome, often the one desired or expected. The voting process doesn't work as well as people thought. Use or manipulate to one's advantage. She knows how to work the system. Proceed along a path. Work one's way through the crowd. Prepare for crops. Shape, form, or improve a material. Work stone into tools. A place where work is done. He arrived at work early today. Cause to undergo fermentation. The vintner worked the wine in big oak vats. The total output of a writer or artist, or a substantial part of it. Picasso's work can be divided into periods. Give a workout to. My personal trainer works me hard. Go sour or spoil. The wine worked. Activity directed toward making or doing something. She checked several points needing further work. Arrive at a certain condition through repeated motion. The stitches of the hem worked loose after she wore the skirt many times. Behave in a certain way when handled. This dough does not work easily. Cause to operate or function. This pilot works the controls. Exert oneself by doing mental or physical work for a purpose or out of necessity. I will work hard to improve my grades. Gratify and charm, usually in order to influence. The political candidate worked the crowds. Move in an agitated manner. His fingers worked with tension. Move into or onto. Work the raisins into the dough. Operate in a certain place, area, or specialty. She works the nightclubs. Operate in or through. Physics. A manifestation of energy. The transfer of energy from one physical system to another expressed as the product of a force and the distance through which it moves a body in the direction of that force. Work equals force times distance. Proceed towards a goal or along a path or through an activity. Work your way through every problem or task. Provoke or excite. The rock musician worked the crowd of young girls into a frenzy. The side of a coin or metal that does not bear the principal design. Reversed, turned backward, in order or nature or effect. Cancel officially. Change to the contrary. The trend was reversed. An unfortunate happening that hinders or impedes, something that is thwarting or frustrating. Reverse the position, order, relation, or condition of. The gears by which the motion of a machine can be reversed. Turn inside out or upside down. Directed or moving toward the rear. Rule against. A relation of direct opposition. We thought Sue was older than Bill, but just the reverse was true. Turning in the opposite direction. American football. A running play in which a back running in one direction hands the ball to a back running in the opposite direction. Of the transmission gear causing backward movement in a motor vehicle. In reverse gear. To break and turn over earth, especially with a plow. Turn the earth in the spring. Twist suddenly so as to sprain. I turned my ankle and couldn't walk for several days. Pass into a condition gradually, take on a specific property or attribute, become. The weather turned nasty. Cause to move around a center so as to show another side of. Turn a page of a book. Undergo a change or development. The water turned into ice. Let something fall or spill from a container. Turn the flour onto a plate. Cause, a plastic object, to assume a crooked or angular form. The strong man could turn an iron bar. Undergo a transformation or a change of position or action. We turned from socialism to capitalism. Pass to the other side of. Turn the corner. Have recourse to or make an appeal or request for help or information to. She turned to her relatives for help. Turning or twisting around, in place. A favor for someone. He did me a good turn. Change to the contrary. The tides turned against him. Game. The activity of doing something in an agreed succession. It is my turn. A short performance that is part of a longer program. A circular segment of a curve. Sports. A division during which one team is on the offensive. A time period for working, after which you will be relieved by someone else. A movement in a new direction. The turning of the wind. An unforeseen development. Events suddenly took an awkward turn. The act of changing or reversing the direction of the course. He took a turn to the right. Go sour or spoil. The cream has turned, we have to throw it out. Accomplish by rotating. Turn a somersault. Alter the functioning or setting of. Turn the dial to 10. Become officially 1 year older. She is turning 50 this year. Cause to change or turn into something different. Assume new characteristics. The princess turned the frog into a prince by kissing him. Cause to move along an axis or into a new direction. Turn your face to the wall. Cause to move around or rotate. Turn a key. Change color. In Vermont, the leaves turn early. Change orientation or direction, also in the abstract sense. The mugger turned and fled before I could see his face. Channel one's attention, interest, thought, or attention toward or away from something. The pedophile turned to boys for satisfaction. Direct at someone. She turned a smile on me. Get by buying and selling. The company turned a good profit after a year. Move around an axis or a center. The wheels are turning. Shape by rotating on a lathe or cutting device or a wheel. Turn the legs of the table. Taking a short walk out and back. We took a turn in the park. The act of turning away or in the opposite direction. He made an abrupt turn away from her. To send or let go. They turned away the crowd at the gate of the governor's mansion. Change to the contrary. The use of speech for informal exchange of views or ideas or information, etc. Any natural phenomenon involving chemistry, as changes to atoms or molecules. The act of taking of a person by force. Take possession of by force, as after an invasion. The militia captured the castle. Succeed in catching or seizing, especially after a chase. The act of forcibly dispossessing an owner of property. Capture as if by hunting, snaring, or trapping. Attract. caused to be enamored. She captured all the men's hearts. Any process in which an atomic or nuclear system acquires an additional particle. A process whereby a star or planet holds an object in its gravitational field. Bring about the capture of an elementary particle or celestial body and causing it enter a new orbit. This nucleus has captured the slow-moving neutrons. Succeed in representing or expressing something intangible. Capture the essence of spring. The removal of an opponent's piece from the chessboard. Transfer somebody to a different position or location of work. The act of transacting within or between groups, as carrying on commercial activities. No transactions are possible without him.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.